let y equals bt be the solution to the differential equation above with initial conditions b0 equals 20? Is the bird gaining weight faster when it weighs 40 grams or when it weighs 50 grams? Explain the reasoning.
Okay, let's go ahead and circle dB over dt. That is the rate. That is how fast it is growing. So the first part is pretty much a freebie. All we're doing is plugging in 40, plugging in 70 into my b value. So let's all put in 1/5 times 100 minus my first b is 40. And my next one is 1/5 times 100 minus 70 is my second. The first one is going to give me 1/5 of 60. How many is 1/5 of 60? 12, okay. And then the second one is 1/5 of 30. How many is 1/5 of 30?
6.
6. Now looking at this, which rate is greater? The 12 is greater, correct?
Yes.
So we're going to write. We're going to actually use the sentence stem given. The bird is gaining weight faster when it blah, blah, blah. So let's all write out. The bird is gaining weight faster when the weight is how many?
40 grams.
Good. When the bird, and I know I'm being repetitive, weighs 40 grams. And do write that in a sentence. So the way they're going to grade you on the AP test, finding the 12 and the 6 and comparing them is 1 point. And then it says explain your reasoning, so all the wording with the key component is 1 point. Okay, now take out flashcard number 5B.
Could I, like, is the way that I put it down, which
Mhm.
is different than that, is this okay?
Show me after I record,
Okay.
because I'm lacking memory on this one. Okay, moving on, part B. Okay, Stallings, let's read that part.
Find d squared b over dt squared in terms of b. Use to explain why the graph of b cannot resemble the following graph.
All right, the following graph that I want you to highlight or even like bold it with a pencil. Do we all notice that our graph is concave up right here?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about why this graph cannot resemble the following. So looking at this, concavity happens when it is positive, it's concave up, negative, it's going to be concave down. Because it says, show me that it is not, we know the actual answer is going to end up being negative. Okay, so let's see what that is. Let's write the original rate, dB over dt. I'm going to actually distribute 1/5 times 100 and 1/5 times negative b to derive it easier. 20 minus 1/5 b. So when I find my second derivative, d squared b over dt squared, what is the derivative of negative 1/5 b? It isn't just negative 1/5? And then we're driving this implicitly, so I need dB over dt. It's kind of like related rates. It is that letter over dt. So from there, don't I already have this guy given to us from the beginning? Yes? Okay, I'm going to put this here because of my bracelet. Okay, let's go ahead and fill it in. We have 1/5, negative 1/5, times the original given rate was 1/5 times 100 minus b. Let's go ahead and distribute. Negative 1 over 25 times 100 minus b. And let's find the possible point of inflection, or not point of inflection, the actual value that we could, it is point of inflection. If I go ahead and set this equal to 0, what is my b represented by?
100.
100, very good. So here's my 100. So we're going to go ahead and plug something on the left and something on the right. Now let's talk about not wasting time. If my graph is capped at 100, do I even care about testing the second point? No, just test the point right next to it. I would do, is 99, or isn't it negative? 100. Would 99 be a good one? Okay. So when I plug it in, I already have this negative over here. And when I plug in 99 to this guy over here, is that positive or negative? Positive. And negative times a positive is?
Negative.
Negative, so we know it's going to be concave down. So look at the contrast. The graph gave me concave up. I got concave down. So let's see how we can phrase this. I'm going to write up here. Because the graph should be concave down. And I'm going to be specific for the value between 20 to 100. 20 less than or equal to B, less than or equal to 100. The given graph is incorrect. Is incorrect. And they're also kind of stingy on this, the point system. Getting dB over dt all the way down, deriving implicitly, that's going to give you 1 point. And then it says, explain why, that's another point. Okay, so how many points is part C then? If part A was 2, part B was 2, how many is part C? 5, okay? That's probably because it is a little more work. So let's see what we have here. Okay, Nev, going to read number or part C.
Use separation of variables to find y equals b of t. Particular solution to the differential equation with initial condition b of 0 equals 20.
Okay, let's start with the rate given, dB over dt. We're all writing. That one kid is not writing. So this is by the given. And also put on here our initial point was at 0, 20. That we're going to plug in at the very, very end, almost towards the end. So let's go ahead and put them together. I am going to put 100 minus b with the dB and move the dt over using algebra. So we have 1 over 100 minus b dB is equal to 1/5 dt. Can you do that part? Yes? Was that easy to do? That's going to give you 1 point. So might as well get as many points as possible. Okay? So from there, we are going to integrate on both sides. Here's my integral. Can you write with me? Okay, when I integrate, I want to worry about the right side first. Isn't this basically 1/5 t plus c? We agree on that? On the other side, we have to use u substitution. So I'm going to show some work over here. We're going to let u equal the denominator. So we have du is equal to negative dB. But if you look at our final goal, am I asking for negative dB or just dB? Just dB, so get rid of the negative with the du. And then here's our direct substitution. We have the integral, and I'm going to kick the negative outside. That came from this right here. 1 over u du. So I did not integrate yet, but we used u substitution. So let's see if y'all remember. Integral of u is what of the absolute value? Natural log. So we have the negatives already there. Natural log of the u. But instead, are y'all okay if I just go ahead and plug it back in? All that guy in? Since I know I have to anyways. Minus b. And then leave the right side alone. 1/5 t plus c. Now from here, this guy right here is going to give you another point. Let's apply pre-calc from here. Who is my hidden base right here, if y'all remember? E. So two things that I'm going to do. I am going to multiply by negative all the way through. And because I'm thinking ahead, let's go ahead and get rid of the absolute value, because at some point our natural log is going to be eliminated. So we have negative 1/5 t. Now some of you guys might argue and say, can I put minus c? You can, but c alone could be negative, so leave it as plus c. Okay, y'all remember dropping and crossing? I'm going to drop the e, cross my right side, t plus c is equal to the argument 100 minus b. And that's why I got rid of the absolute value, because I knew it was going to disappear anyways. And then when I simplify this, it was c as our constant, e to the constant is t. So e to the power of negative 1/5 t is equal to 100 minus b. And now let's make b by itself. Do I need to make b by itself? Yeah, let's make b by itself. So let's apply algebra 1. When I make b by itself, I'm going to move the b over and c times e and all that over. So that's going to give me, when I move the b over, we do have to move the c over. Didn't I say that c value could be a negative anyways? Yep. So we have b is equal to 100. Still plus, because that c could be a negative. Negative 150. Now I can plug in our initial value. Let's recall. When x equals 0, what was our y value given? 20. So now I'm going to plug in 20 here. And then our c value is what we're looking for. Negative 1/5t, and our t value is 0. And just by looking at that, our c value is going to end up being what? If I put it as 20 is equal to 100, and all that is going to end up being e to the power of 0. What is e to the power of 0? 1. So 1 times c is c. So our c value is negative 80. Y'all see how long that was? Okay, if you're like, ooh, that's quite annoying, I get it. So I'm going to use the function with the b by itself and write our value with c. 100 minus 80, e to the power of negative 150. Now let's see our point system here. From getting here all the way to that point, it's going to be 1 point. Plugging in our 0 and 20, it's going to be another point, and finding the c value, of course. And your final equation is going to give you another point. So on the front, let's go ahead and write. What was your raw score? What was your potential?